Claire, I know we had ample time to prepare for what was to pass today, but it did not spare, I'm sure this holds for you as well, women, and I heard from women all day until I came on the air, who were in shock, who were horrified, who felt that the very worst concerns about a court so extreme, it does something so out of step with not just the mainstream, but a plurality, a majority of Americans wanted to see done today.
It's been a tough day. I took calls from my daughters, one with white-hot anger and the other sobbing. I've had to digest the reality of what is the law now in the state where I represented people for 40 years. And that law is one of the most extreme in the country. And just to walk you down the path for a moment, Nicole, one of my daughters had a miscarriage not very long ago. Right now in Missouri, it would be perfectly within reason for a law enforcement agency to request a search warrant to search her home, to search the doctor's office, to see if in fact the medication she was taking, was it for a self-managed abortion or was it to manage the consequences of a miscarriage? Think about that for a minute. That's what the law is in my state right now. The young girls that I had to deal with when I was a prosecutor who had been raped by their father or their stepfather, who were pregnant, who'd been told if they told anyone they'd be killed. The state is now mandating that those children carry those pregnancies to term. This is extreme violation of people's personal freedoms. It is government mandates on steroids. I am so sick of these people whining about masks and vaccination and then telling that 13-year-old girl she has to carry her sibling to term. It's unbelievable. I go between despair and anger, just like my daughters.
Claire, I think that first of all, thank you for sharing the story of what is going to happen to all women in states with these incredibly restrictive bans. And you and I have talked about this before. IVF becomes a different undertaking. States are eliminating exceptions for the life of the mother, which means you have to be experiencing near death. They will send women home until they are in a state called sepsis, which means their body is dying upon itself of an infection so serious that the doctors will wait until that happens and the chances of saving you are slim so that they cannot face so much scrutiny, the kind that you're talking about. I mean, Claire, how is this where we are in 2022?
I don't want to hear anybody saying, well, no one's going to enforce these laws. I'll tell you what's going to happen, Nicole, in my state. The lawyers for the doctors under malpractice coverage are going to say, you can't do IVF. So not only would a woman who is desperate to have a baby have to drive to another state to try to have a baby, she obviously would have to drive to another state if she'd been raped and impregnated by her rapist. That is the yin and the yang of where we find ourselves. There's no way under the law that is written in Missouri that I think lawyers would advise doctors to continue to do IVF in Missouri or to prescribe IUDs. It is, and I've looked very carefully at the laws in Missouri today. I've even reviewed what jury instructions would look like for a criminal trial against a woman who actually did a self-managed abortion or used an IVF, IUD, or the morning after pill. It is really scary stuff. And I think we have some very extreme prosecutors in Missouri, particularly in the rural areas. Maybe Clarence Thomas is going to get his wish. He wrote in that decision that he thought they should blow up the right to contraception. He may get his wish and get a case from Missouri where the court will have an opportunity to do that.